This is the voice of the Report of the Week, signing on. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone listening. This is VORW, the voice of the Report of the Week. And here we are for another program, another show of VORW. Let's see what number it is. I couldn't even say. I think it's 120 or 121. One or the other. Let's see this. Let's see. 121 it is. So VORW show number 121. Here we are. It's 3:58 p.m. Monday, the 16th of May, 2016. And here we are. Present, accounted for, and starting off the week with at least recording some of the VORW. So I hope you're doing well. That's what I always ask. That's the question I always ask. That's a statement that I always make. And that's just what I always say at the beginning of each program. You know, how are you doing? And I hope you're doing well. I always hope my listening audience is in good health and good spirits, hopefully. And just remember that if it's not the greatest, if it's not, working out as intended, if it was a bad week, last week, a bad weekend, a bad start to the week, just keep looking forward and, just know that one day things will get better. They will. Trust me when I say it, that the fact of the matter is that I've had many moments of, almost despair. I'm just sitting there, back in 2013, 2014, I was just sitting there, I didn't see anything. Thought I had nothing. I kept looking forward. I kept trying to trudge on, and it was worth it in the end. And it sure was. It really, really was in that regard. So, anyways, I hope you're doing well. I'm on the road. As I said, if you've seen the other videos, I'm somewhere else. I'm not going to be, really talking extremely loud out of respect, since it's not, not my house. But anyways, in today's show, I just want to, we'll just babble a bit, we'll talk a bit, and then, of course, we'll read some letters, respond to some letters, and that'll be that. Maybe we'll read the rest of that story today. The story titled Death Row. We may perhaps read that today, though it is not, ready at this time. But who's to say it won't be ready by the time this program is concluded? Can I shut off the recorder and take a little break, and what have you, and work on it, finish it up? We'll see. We'll see for sure, and if not this program, the next it shall be. So here we are. Let's see how the weather is. I'm looking outside right now. It's a very sunny day. Totally clear skies for the most part. Some brilliant sunshine coming in, and winds appear to be calm. AccuWeather. Let's see what they have to say as to the weather today. Of course, being in another part of the country now, temperatures are a bit different. Though it's relatively the same. All over, it's sunny and 62 degrees. Though it says it should feel like it's 68. And it's been quite cool lately. It's been quite cool. The average temperature at this time should be mid to upper 70s. 75, 76. But it's, 64, 63, 62. So unseasonably cool, as they do say. But, it's still pleasant. Something that's better. Personally, my favorite range in temperatures is between, 55 and 75 Fahrenheit. That's always a favorite for me. 55 and 75. So that's what we got. That's what we have here. The just a relaxing Monday. I'm going with Uber Monster today, of all things. I actually have a bunch of them, and Uber Monster is always it's always a nice monster to drink. I believe if you ever go to Big Lots, chances are you'll see the Uber Monster there. I think. I haven't really seen them in any other retailers aside from Big Lots lately, but they're around, and you'll find them if you look for them. They taste good. The one problem is the stupid cap that's on top. The cap on top of these, on top of the normal monsters, has a little opener, right? Pull it upwards. You hear the little snap. And then the drink's open and available for your consumption. The Uber Monster, however, the fact of the matter is, you open it, and it doesn't have a little opener like that. Rather, it just has this, supposed to be a twist-off cap, okay, that you may find on an actual, because it is in a glass bottle, you can hear it. It's in a glass bottle. But it's one of those pressed-down, twist-off caps that you might find on some beer, bottles or some other bottles that you need a bottle opener for. Just too much to try to pry it off otherwise. So this drink requires a bottle opener to consume, and even that, it's, suffice to say, quite a pain to get to. And by that, you open it eventually, you spill half the contents of the beverage, and then you really say to yourself, is it really worth it? But then you take a sip and you realize, hey, this is actually pretty good. And then you say, yeah, it was worth it in the end. They're cheap, though, and you get a decent amount of it. It's, what's a complete? There's about 16 ounces in the bottle. It's a nice glass bottle, too. Could collect it if you wanted to. I remember back in the early days of the channel, everyone wanted me to review the Uber Monster. Everyone did. So everyone wanted me to review the Uber Monster, And I reviewed it, and I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was, the greatest thing in the world. But it was okay. It was okay. That's the way to put it. Oh. So that's what there is. And I know this show is a bit slower today in terms of my talking, but I hope you enjoy it. If this is one of the shows you want to use, to fall asleep to, be my guest. But it's just a calm Sunday or Monday. A calm Monday with not a ton going on. So I figure why not? Let's slow the pace down a little bit, and because of that, this show will now be about 5 hours in length instead of 3. So what do you want to talk about first? I got 2 things I want to talk about. Well, 3, but one of them we'll talk about anyways. Shortwave. That's mentioned in every single show. What do you want to talk about? I've got 2 topics here. I could rotate them freely. I could say one first and another later. So, which one you want to hear first? I got talk about the channel. Something big that happened with it yesterday. Okay. Or I can talk about something that kind of made me realize the importance of writing, to creators, and a very harsh lesson that I learned yesterday. So what do you want to hear? Something big about the channel, or something about writing to creators? So give you a few seconds to figure it out. You want to hear about the channel first? Okay. We'll talk about the channel first. And then we'll talk about something that kind of proved the premise I was trying to discuss in the one lecture a few programs back about the importance of writing to creators and broadcasters and letting them know that you enjoy their content while they're still around. And this is a very, very harsh lesson I learned last night, and kind of a sad one too, but it just shows the importance of writing to people. And I hope maybe it'll hit home to you also. Maybe it won't, but maybe it will. And who can say? So the channel. We'll talk about the channel first. If you're ever curious, by the way, looking up statistics for the channel, you can use a site called Social Blade. Socialblade.com. You go to that website, and from there you can type in any YouTube username in the search bar on the right. And it'll bring you to a page. Say you go to that channel now, on that site now, and you type in the report of the week on the right search bar. From there, it'll bring you over to this page where you see my little channel background, the little purple swirl on the back, the black background, and there's my picture. The report of the week. It says uploads, subscribers, video views, country, channel type, created, and so on. And then you can look at statistics for the channel. Alright, now if you're looking through that, it goes from March 17th through May 15th. And you'll see per day, you'll see a lot of similar numbers, 129 subscribers gained, 100 subscribers gained, 77 subscribers gained. Really, any day nowadays, it ranges anywhere between, 70 and 120 subscribers per day, which is a very good amount. And, in terms of views, anywhere from usually, 8 to 12,000 views per day. So we're looking, 81, 77, 10,000 views, 8,000. Or something happened, we lost 12,000 views that day. And we're looking and, wait, what's this? Saturday the 14th says there were 128 subscribers that day. And Sunday the 15th says there were 1,301 subscribers that day. And on Monday, what does it say, like 180 or so? What happened, Review Bro? Is that a glitch in the system? That doesn't make any sense. Why would you suddenly get 1,300 subscribers in one day and then back to normal the next day? What happened there? Is that a glitch? Do you know anything of that? I think that's kind of weird. I didn't notice any sort of, influx in the comments or anything to that regard. I didn't see that. You sure it isn't some sort of glitch? No, the subscriber count is correct on the channel. What happened? So, this happens from time to time. Yesterday I got, an extra 1,300 subscribers. 1,301. Not just 300, gotta be 301. But I got an extra 1,301 subscribers yesterday, the 15th, Sunday of 2016. And the reason being was due to Reddit. Now, if you look at the chart that says daily subs gained for the report of the week, you'll see how it's, an interesting little graph there. You see this big, huge bump at the beginning. That was from 2013, the infamous pan pizza stunt that I talk about, when the channel, went viral. And then, of course, there's a few bumps here. There's, a few real spikes. And then there's another big spike that was yesterday. Reddit. That was from Reddit. And, that was the cause. You might wonder, well, did a video go, to get posted on, a subreddit that was popular, or what? And apparently there was a comment of mine that got posted somewhere. But it, I don't know, Reddit and, these memes of theirs, they confuse me. I just don't understand the concept of them. I don't get it. You know? I mean, I was looking, and there's a subreddit titled me underscore IRL. I guess that's me space in real life. And I don't understand the concept of this subreddit whatsoever. It says there's 378,000 people that are subscribed to it for some reason. And the top post submitted 10 hours ago is not mine, but clicking on it, it says me IRL. And it's this confuses me. It's a picture of some whiteboard drawing that says Darude Sandstorm on it. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I mean, is this like I know there's a site that's utterly cancerous called 9gag. Is this on the same level as that? Has it just gone down the tubes that much? Who can say, right? But anyways, one of my comments got posted on that subreddit, and it garnered whatever 5,000 something up votes. And it was from the water review. I'm looking at it right now. Perhaps I'll just, what the heck. We'll use this picture as one of the VORW pictures so we can all see it. Some of the water review. And this individual called Thrifty Gamer says, "You're joking, right? Why do you even make videos like this?" And, I sarcastically replied, so people can find out what water is the best. And I wasn't, of course, the water review I did as a joke, People always say, "Oh, he's just, he's a character, you can see how he broke character." And I am who I am, but just because I'm an odd person doesn't mean, I can't have fun and, get a few laughs when I so please, So I decided, let's humorously review water, and let's try to just do it as a serious review. And it is a legitimate review of water. But I decided to try to conduct it as an energy drink review and do a side-by-side comparison. But that was it. There's just the picture here. You can see it. And the guy says, "You're joking. Why do you do this?" And so people can find out what water is the best. And apparently that is representative of me underscore IRL. So I don't understand it. I just don't get it. I don't. I fail to. I don't understand the significance of any of that on that subreddit. What any of this stuff means. How it contributes to someone in real life. Or what, it goes right over my head, all these memes. It's very confusing to me. But anyway, so that was posted there, and, got some attention from that. And, all the Redditors flocked in because someone linked the water review. And they all flocked in. The majority of them stopped in and said, "Le epic meme." And then they went and they'll never be back. But a few of them did subscribe and maybe will stick around, If there's any of you watching this who are new subscribers because of this incident, it's not really, what is an incident? Anything could be an incident, good or bad, There's such a thing as good incidents, too. Everyone always uses the word incident in a negative, as a negative connotation. But it can be positive, too. Or neutral. But, if there's anyone who actually came here because of this, feel free to write. Don't feel left out, Everyone's welcome here on VORW, the voice of the report of the week. And I'll give a little introduction of the program if you're still listening. This program, VORW, the voice of the report of the week, is a program consisting of audio only with a few pictures, either scenic, pertinent to the contents of this program, or our fan-made artwork. And this program simply discusses the channel, various topics I feel like discussing. And we also read and respond to listeners' letters in this program. And it usually goes to about 3 hours in length nowadays, between 2.5 and 3 hours of length. And this is something for you to listen to if, a lot of people, I've realized, use it to fall asleep to, but, it doesn't offend me any. I know falling asleep can be a very tedious thing, and if it helps you get to sleep, hey, more power to you. But some people listen to it to fall asleep. Some people actually listen to it. Some people say, I have a long commute. I'm going on a trip. Going on a train, a plane, a bus, or a boat for X amount of hours. And, it gives me something to listen to. But whatever the purpose may be, some people listen to it and some people write in. And, it's always neat. We always start off with a bunch of miscellaneous topics like we are in this show. This is just a standard show. And then after that we have a little time signal, which is a few little time pips marking the midpoint of the show. And then following that is the mailbag portion of the show, where, I provide a question for listeners, a question of the day. And people then could write in with answers. And I also implore people to write in with questions of their own to me and statements of their own if there's anything they want to share with me and the world. And I can write that too. They can give shout outs, anything goes. And then we read and respond to it in the mailbag segment of the program. But if you are new to the show and you're listening to this for the first time, welcome. Warmly welcome. And I hope you can stick around, if you enjoy it, if you like it. By gosh, listen to it and, see what you make of it, and welcome aboard. If you're not a fan of it, you're not a fan of it, and that's understandable too. But don't worry, it's all good. And if you're new to this, welcome, and feel free to write in. And, just know that a bunch of people do write in, but I recognize my regulars, and, who knows, maybe you'll get sucked in, and now this will be your life, and you'll wake up, 10 years later wondering what went wrong. You'll say it was all because of that damned VORW show. Horrible humor, right there. But that was that, the channel got some attention from Reddit. And then I think it was posted on 9gag, too. And 9gag, that site's even more confusing to me. I don't understand it. Here's the post on 9gag. Same exact thing. But the comments here are just, I don't know. They don't even make any sense. Weird. This is just one of those things that's not meant for me to comprehend. Okay, let's see what we have going in the comments. Let's make sure the recorder's on, which it is. Looks like these people are fighting in the comments. Well, we'll let them fight. This one's fine. This is one of those people from Leafy's channel. Really cringe, This one's okay. And they're all looking good otherwise. Alright. So, that happened with the channel, there was a little influx in subscribers, gave a little boost up to almost 53,000 subs, but nothing more, A few of those people will still stick around and, a few will come back at a later date. And some never will come back, but, for, maybe out of the 1,300 people who showed up, maybe 50 of them will become regulars, and to 50 of you, hey, welcome aboard. Again, feel free to write and do as you please. You know, that actually reminds me of something. It's a trend, actually, I've seen on Reddit. And, you know, I think it does more harm than good. Really. What it is specifically, though, is, as I like to think of it, sympathy subscribers. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't, maybe you've partaken in it. There were 140,000 people who did the last time this happened, so maybe you're one of them. And there's no shame in it at all. You know, everyone's just trying to do good by it, but sometimes it doesn't play out that way in the end. No one really sees that. But the fact of the matter is, that's how I think of it. It's not actually a canned term or coined term, sympathy subs. But it's true. I've seen 2 occasions of this, and each one has unfortunately played out the same way. And I think it's short-term good, long-term bad. And I think in the end it might have just been better not even to subscribe in the first place, even if it would have made the person feel better for a day or two. Allow me to elaborate, right? The most recent example is for a channel called Tommy NC 2010. Now, I'll keep the opinions of the channel to myself. But, it's understood that the proprietor of the channel does have, legitimate autism, just like you, bro. But, has, legitimate autism, but he's able to, he enjoys doing what he does and managing his little show and channel, and I think that's fine, more power to him. He's doing what he likes to do. Good for him. I've known of his channel for a bit. But, it makes him happy, and I think that's a great thing. Now, people have said he's kind of, a jerk. But, as we know, sometimes with autism, sometimes an awareness of, talking and what have you, and communicating, isn't really the greatest. It's never intentional, though. Anyways. So the fact of the matter is, he's just doing his thing, managing his little channel. He has like 500, maybe 1,000, 2,000 subscribers. And this one YouTuber, of course, Leafy is here, makes his little video about his channel, because, he's weird, and all that. So he makes a video about it, and then Leafy's, army of people come over to his channel, insult him, attack him, mock him for who he is, and give him death threats and everything, the usual. And someone decides to make note of the issue that now this one YouTuber, Leafy is here, made a video about the guy, and now all his fans are there attacking this guy's channel for what appears to be no reason. And, it is sad to see all these people assaulting his channel and everything for, really, what did he do wrong? Nothing. He's just doing what he likes, and now he's being attacked for it. So someone makes note of that, and they post it to Reddit, and they say, this guy and all his supporters are there attacking this guy. We've got to do something about this. This is horrible. So they say, well, let's make him feel good, and let's all subscribe to his channel. Well, that sounds like a good idea, right? Let's get all the people on Reddit to subscribe to Tommy's channel. And let's, give him a real nice special day. So Reddit gets together. They band together. And they say, alright, we're going to subscribe to his channel. We're going to give him a great surprise. We're going to give him overwhelmingly positive comments. We're going to make sure that he knows that he really is appreciated for what he does. That he can be himself without consequence. Sounds like a good idea, right? What's wrong with that? Nothing, right? It's great. We're going to make this guy who's now being harassed for doing nothing, we're going to make him feel good again. Make him feel happy, put a smile on his face, and that'll be great. So, they subscribe, goes from 1,000 subscribers or so to around 140,000 in the next day. And could you imagine your channel going from, getting 140,000 subscribers in a day? I mean, I got 1,000 subscribers yesterday, and that was crazy. Now multiply that by 140, my goodness, that'd be absolutely insane. So, he gets 140,000 subscribers. He's getting 50,000 to 100,000 views per video. It's looking good. Overwhelming support. He's happy. Everyone's happy. Mission accomplished, right? Alright, we made him feel happy. We subscribed to him. We watched a few of his videos. Pack up, everyone. Let's go home. Mission's over. Mission accomplished. We're done. Well, now, what happened? Fact of the matter is, you check back a month later, he's got 140,000 subscribers still. He's losing about 200 subscribers a day, and he's only getting about 6,000 to 8,000 views per day now, just as many as me. What happened? Well, all the people on Reddit and those sites subscribed to him out of sympathy to make him feel better. And then after they made him feel better for a day, they left. They packed up their bags and said, well, the work here is done. And they left. And now there he is with all these subscribers who are just dormant, not watching any of his stuff. Not really caring. And, things are kind of back to how they were. Now it's just, a number. So it seems. He's got 140,000 subscribers, and none of them are watching. None of them are doing anything. But that's how it is. And I think that's a real shame, Makes you wonder what's better, right? All these people coming in and, it's... And that kind of tells you something, too. All these people coming in and, just trying to make them feel good. It's really just half-hearted. If they really cared so much, they wouldn't just pack up their bags and leave like that as soon as they felt their work was done. I'd stick around, maybe not watch everything, but periodically check in and, be fans, rather than just, kind of putting on that happy mask and saying, oh, great video, Tommy, and then leaving, never to return, or just unsubscribing after that. It just shows that it was all in vain, and I don't know, I bet it's a minority opinion. I bet some people really harshly express their dissent at that, saying, how dare you, you say you shouldn't have supported him like that, but that's just my thoughts and my views, and I just personally think that all these people subscribing to his channel, giving all their false support, because that's what it really is, giving all their false support to him, and then just leaving and abandoning him like that, is really no better than what the person, that Leafy YouTuber, did in the first place, that insulted him like that. I think it's two very different things, but I think that's no better than that in the end. Because it shows that all their support in the end is just extremely half-hearted and insincere. And I personally think it'd be better to just keep your mouth shut and not say anything at all than to give someone false support that you really don't stand by. And that's what I think. I think you should either commit yourself to something or just don't to begin with. And if you commit yourself to something, be prepared to go through with it. But that's what I think of that matter. Now, something else I found interesting. We're going to change topics here. Was something I was talking about earlier, about writing to content creators. Now, a few of you listening might remember that lecture where I talked about content creators and the importance of writing in and, letting, be it international broadcasters like I listen to, such as All India Radio and the Voice of Iran, letting them know that I'm listening to keep them going. Or YouTubers, let them know that you support them and, that they just appreciate what they're doing. And how important it is to do that before it's too late. Before they're gone, right? So, I have a story to tell that unfortunately proves it. And this is on me. So here's the fact of the matter. Back in 2014, I listened to a program on the radio that would come on real late. It would come on between, I believe, 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. Saturday mornings. It would come on an FM station in the area called WBAI. Now, WBAI is, some people like it. Some people don't. It's a station with a liberal bias, which is good to some people, bad to other people. Some people say, well, it's a station that represents my ideals and, programs that I enjoy hearing, and others will, call it propaganda. But either way, it was a station with mostly, liberal programming. If you ever heard of actually the program called Democracy Now!, that program is actually produced by WBAI. It's a station that runs out of New York City, but the program Democracy Now!, again, if you've ever heard of that one, produced by WBAI. It's an FM station. The show Democracy Now! Actually was relayed on shortwave for a time being on 9395 kilohertz, and so I've heard them on shortwave. But anyways, that's not the program I'm talking about. But while WBAI is a station with a, real politically liberal bias, they also have some, art and literature and cultural programs as well, which are more neutral in that they aren't really politically centered. And that's what I enjoy in many of those types of programs. I'd rather hear someone play some music with, just some innocuous commentary than someone playing some music and saying, this song represents this, and we gotta stand up against those, insert here, Anyways, there's a program that was aired on this station between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. Saturday mornings called As I Please. And it was by an announcer by the name of Simon Lockley, I think his name was. And it was one of the classiest programs I've ever heard in my life. It was. It was similar to VORW in that, it was just simply talking to a microphone and just playing some music, but no sound effects or anything, no other music. And the program was simply just 2 hours of pretty much just a monologue. And the person would talk, he would read literature, he would read, from famous works of literature, he would play classical music, he would play jazz tunes, and he would just give monologues on whatever he felt it necessary. But I immensely enjoyed it because it was a very classy program. He always used extremely complex language, you could say, which I learned a lot of really nice formal words from that program. He really just appreciated the English language and, tried to use every word of it, and did so in a very articulate and extremely smooth manner. He was able to pull all these words together and just talk for 2 hours and play some classical music, some jazz tunes, read different passages. I remember I think he really liked the book Finnegan's Wake, and he would read some passages from that in every program and other works of literature. And it was just a very formal program, a very classy program, and something that I immensely enjoyed listening to. It was like my kind of a program, and even if I didn't completely get every single word, it also helped me expand my own literacy and, gave me a multitude of other words in the language to get a grasp on as well. So I thought it was a very interesting program and extremely enjoyable, and he played some great classical music pieces, some great jazz pieces, some big band instrumentals, and also exposed me to some literature which I never would have known of in the first place. So it was a great program, and, in 2014, similar to now, my sleep schedule was, I'd fall asleep in the real late night hours and wake up in the midday hours. So, at 6 a.m. I'd be very tired, but I'd be listening to them just before I went to sleep. I'd listen to As I Please just before I went to sleep. But eventually his sleep schedules changed, and I wasn't able to be awake to catch his programs, so I stopped listening. So the other day, I was thinking about his program for some reason, and I thought to myself, I'm going to check this out. I'm going to see what he's up to, how the program's doing, and I think I'm going to start listening to it again. Right. So I looked up As I Please, and I saw his website, and I said, alright, I'll check this out, I'll see what the latest schedule is, and, if he's still on that station, and if I could find the archives of his show. So I looked up, and what do I find? Right there on the webpage is a big announcement. It says it's our sad duty to inform you that Mr. Simon Lockley passed away on November 28th, 2015. And it gave a obituary of him, and it's he wasn't even that old either. He died unexpectedly in his sleep. I think he was only in his 50s or 60s. He wasn't, too old to have died from, natural causes, and he just died unexpectedly in his sleep in November of 2015. And I never got the chance to write him. I never got the chance to express how I enjoyed his programs and, what I got out of them. And I never got that chance. He's dead. No new programs like that will ever be made. What's there is there, and that's all that there is to it. And, the archives was wiped out too. I was able to find a few shows, really, really looking hard for them. But I can't even go back and really listen to his shows either. To enjoy that anymore. I can't write to him. I can't listen. He's dead, and I never got the chance to write to him. I never got the chance to express how I felt about his shows. And that's kind of saddening in a way, It's a program I really enjoyed and was going to go back, and, then I found out that the creator of it's been dead for months. So I think that's a really harsh example of the importance of writing to creators that you enjoy. But I think it's a true, legitimate example. I enjoyed this person's programming. I never wrote in. Then when I go to check again, he's gone. He's dead. It's not just that the station shut down. He died. So it's a harsher example, It's sad I'll never be able to hear another new program from him again. But, it was the loss of a very, very good person. Anyways, though, that's just a harsher example of that. Still proving, unfortunately, that you gotta write into people who you enjoy their content from before it's sadly too late. It's the real harsh truth, but the truth nonetheless. And if you ever want to hear any of his programs, I'll let you know how. Let me look this up right now if it's still working. Yeah, type in on Google WBAI server archive, I believe. I think that should work. And then where it says all shows, go down to where it says As I Please. Click on that and then scroll down because you'll see a few shows, in 2016, December 2015, that was done by someone else. So instead, scroll down perhaps to, anything before November. It was just, You can listen to some of his shows from there. But still, just sad to see it gone. Anyways, on to shortwave. Now, in the shortwave world, not much is going on with all the broadcast stations. There's a new station that's starting up in Zambia, believe it or not. Christian station, though, but still a new signal on the airwaves, at least. However, I've been monitoring a station, and everyone loves this kind of stuff. We all love UVB 76, the infamous buzzer that's just sitting there buzzing away as we speak. And it is. It's going right now. Let me go to 4625 in upper sideband, and you can hear it right now. Here's UVB 76. Still buzzing away right now. Just buzzing away like that. We all love those shortwave oddities, where it's just something making like a noise and nobody can figure out what it is or why it's doing that, and it's been going for hours and days, on end, and no one can figure it out, right? Everyone loves that kind of stuff, right? Nobody knows what it is, nobody knows who's doing it, what the purpose of it is. Everyone loves that kind of stuff. And I found a station in Europe that's the exact same thing, but it's not a buzzer, no. In fact, I find it to be more interesting than any sort of buzzer. It's a station broadcasting on 6965 kilohertz, which is a shortwave frequency between two broadcast bands, meaning, there's nothing really designated there. You get different signals there all the time, some data transmissions, some other transmissions from ships and aircrafts, but these stations transmitting here, some pirate stations too, aren't licensed broadcasters, meaning in this frequency range, you're not going to find stations like the BBC World Service or the Voice of America or China Radio or anything like that. They're not licensed to transmit in this range. But I found a station 2 weeks ago that was transmitting bird calls. Non-stop. No announcements, no identification, nothing. Just bird calls. Non-stop. Just kept going with bird sounds, bird noises, going and going until it just faded out at night. And that's the last I heard of it. Well, it was back yesterday, and I monitored the station I checked in over an 8-hour period, transmitting bird noises, faded out at night, faded back in, and it's still online right now transmitting these bird calls. And nobody knows what the station is, why it's transmitting bird noises, who's operating it, why it's being operated, and really how it's being operated, but it's transmitting just bird noises and bird calls, 24/7, no interruption, no voices, no identification, nothing, just bird calls, and it's mysterious. No one knows what it is or why it's making these bird noises or what, but it's actually transmitting right now, so I'll let you hear what I'm talking about. So this is the bird station, as I call it. I'll let you soak it in for another couple seconds. And this is live. So that's the station, going right now as we speak, just playing this chorus of bird calls, non-stop, 24 hours a day, no speaker, no announcement, no ID, no sign-off, nothing, just these bird noises, 24 hours, maybe even 24/7 now, as I've only started monitoring it. 24/7, just bird sounds and bird calls and noises. Nobody knows where it's transmitting from, who's transmitting it, and more importantly, why they're transmitting it. If it's to be a channel marker to mark the frequency for something, if it's to mess with people, if it's someone who thinks that's what they have to do, transmit these bird noises, if it's actually a type of communications, or what. But, you remember how I was talking about, like, that backwards music station, these interesting things on shortwave? This is another one of them, no one can figure out why it's making these bird noises and what this station really is. The good news, at least, that this station is kind of pleasant to monitor, at least, it can be like one of those ASMR tracks, just listening to birds in the woods. But, anyways, I think that's an interesting shortwave station right there. And I think that's one of the fun things about shortwave, you always get interesting stations like this. You always do. And I think that's very interesting. Let's see how we are with time. Okay. So the fact of the matter is, I'm out of my monologue right now, so I figure, unless anything else comes up, which it may, and if it does, I'll interject here. But if not, fan mail segment begins right after the tone. And you're listening to VORW, the voice of the Report of the Week. And this is now the second half of our program, the Mailbag Show, in which we read and respond to listeners' letters. And that can be consistent of anything. Your letters, of course, can be questions to me. I could be giving you questions, which I will. There's always the question of the program. General comments, general statements, shout-outs, or anything in between. Of course, fan art is also appreciated and is duly welcome. So without further ado, I believe the question for the last program, which we'll be answering in this program, was, if you had 3 wishes, yes sir, 3 wishes, and you did not have the ability to wish for any more wishes, meaning, some people like to find the loophole where they say, well, I'll wish for 3 more wishes, or I'll wish for unlimited wishes. That doesn't work. You can try it, it's not going to work. Nothing's going to happen. 3 wishes, and that's it. They'll come true, guaranteed. But 3 is the number. And I said, what would they be? And we got a very good amount of responses for that, a very interesting number, and a lot of very, very neat responses to read as well. So I look forward to reading and thereafter responding to them. But first, let's introduce the question for this program. Now, perhaps I've introduced this question in programs before, but I think it's a question that you can ask periodically. This question can really be asked indefinitely, because I think it is an ever-changing question with ever-changing answers. So I think it's an interesting one to ask, and hopefully it will yield some interesting answers as well. Now, this isn't a question that'll really make you think. This is more of what I call a statistical question, which kind of just is, shows a better understanding of some of the demographics of the channel. Both for my interest and for yours, if you're curious about who your fellow viewers are, and fellow listeners, of course. The question is as follows. Simply put, how did you find out about this channel? Okay. How did you find out about this channel, the Report of the Week? In other words, what led you to get here? How did you find out about this channel? What brought you here? Alright. What brought you to this channel, if you recall? Was it another website, such as Reddit, 4chan, 9gag? Was it a social media site, such as Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram? Was it another website? Was it maybe a news site? Was it from a news article? Was it from YouTube? Was it from another YouTuber? Or was it from suggested videos? Were you looking for food reviews and found this website as is? And this YouTube channel as it is? Did you even find out about this channel via the international shortwave broadcasts of VORW? Because there have been people who have came to the channel who did originally only listen to the shortwave broadcasts of VORW. Did you get here by word of mouth? Did you get here by your friends telling you? Your folks telling you? Did you get some really weird cryptic dream and say, the report of the week? I don't know how I got this name in my head, but I gotta go to his channel now. Who knows? Who knows, but very interested to see the responses. Again, the question simply is, how did you get to this channel? How did you find out about this channel? What brought you here? Your answers are greatly appreciated, and of course, if you'd like to incorporate a little story into your answer to make it, fun to read, or, that's always gladly appreciated. And questions from me, of course, are always welcome as well. Now, if you want to know how I got to this channel, the Report of the Week, well, I founded it back in 2011. So I guess I was kind of like the big bang that started the Report of the Week universe. That's that. Now, here's the other question. Dearest Review Bro, how do I contact you if I want to write to you? Well, that's a great question. You can do it by one of three ways. Number one, do write to us via YouTube, the inbox system thereof, and do write. Go to the About tab, click on Send Message, type the contents of your message, send it off and into the YouTube inbox it shall land, and thereafter be responded to. If you're more of an email type of person, maybe you don't have a YouTube account and you still listen, or if you just want to use email, if that's what you're happier and more content with, we have you there too. Don't you worry. Send us an email at repweekinterview1@gmail.com. That's repweekinterview1, the number 1, @gmail.com. Or send us an email to vorwinfo@gmail.com. That's vorwinfo@gmail.com. Thank you, and I really do look forward to your letters. Now, speaking of letters, let's look. Let's see what we have here. Let's see what's in the inbox. Remember seeing the other day. Let's see. Here we go. And now with all sinus issues gone, let's begin. Hi, Review Bro. I felt the need to write in because your 3 wishes question is so interesting. Not only does it delve into what humans really want, but can show us how nice we really are and what our motivations are. I'll be honest with my 3 wishes here, since I am basically anonymous anyways. Wish number 1. My anxiety and any feelings of it will be gone forever. I know it's commonly known that some anxiety is good and it's important and whatnot, but I have had completely enough of it and would be elated to never feel it again. Never again would I jolt awake with anxiety every morning. Never again will I waste day after day not doing what I want to because of my anxiety. I'm nearly 30 and I want it 100% gone. Wish number 2. 500 million pounds, which is not weight, but the British currency. I know money doesn't equal happiness, but I'm a firm believer in the hedonic treadmill, and there is more than ample evidence that it works with lottery winners and the like. But it would be nice to not have the money worry anymore. I hate my current job, and the stresses of work are not conducive to a happy life, in my opinion. I can also take care of my family and a few close friends, along with charity stuff, which would be wonderful. This is an interesting one. And wish number 3. A dominatrix that lives with me that is completely invisible to my girlfriend. Why the hell not, eh? Might as well have a bit of fun without alienating my partner. If I thought on it, you might get different answers, but these are the first few things that came to me, and I stand by them. Keep up the good work, and I'm sorry that old man is saying mean things to you. It's bizarre. Maybe you should be feeling sorry for them, though. They are at that age and at a place in life where they're writing horrible things to someone half his age on the internet. I sincerely doubt he's a happy person. Sincerely, John? Yeah, let's say I'm John. Well, thanks for writing, John. And, I really do appreciate your honesty. I know some people would say, I want, I wish for world peace, and all of that. But I like the fact that you just said it as it is. This is what you'd wish for, and this is just how it is. So I appreciate that. Secondly, I understand, the anxiety is really a massive roadblock, Especially when I gotta deal with the great combination of anxiety plus paranoia. That's even better. And money doesn't equal happiness, but a little cash here and there could do a person well. I'll be dead honest with you. If I found a few $1,000,000 right now, of course I'd better one's life, and you gotta find an amount of money that's good enough to make things better, but not enough to really bring things to your head, look at the movie Wolf of Wall Street, for instance, Jordan Belfort, right? Look at what all the money did to him. It just screwed him up, and you see how it is. And I think the dominatrix one is very, very interesting, to say the least. Thank you for writing. Hello, this person says. Just a short question. I want to start listening to shortwave radio. Could you recommend a radio? Thank you for the time invested in your radio show. It's highly appreciated and very entertaining. Well, thank you for writing, and I'd gladly appreciate or recommend a radio for you. And this is to anyone who's interested in shortwave and they want to listen with an actual radio. Okay. I recommend the Texan PL660 shortwave receiver. That's TECSUN PL660 660 shortwave receiver. And I think it's just an excellent receiver. I've had it for 2 years now. It's still popular. It hasn't been outdated at all. And it's just a great receiver, great antenna, and it has a lot to it. All right, you get the whole shortwave spectrum, from where it begins at 1.7 megahertz, all the way up to 30 megahertz. Has the entire shortwave spectrum, no disturbance. You could scan through every shortwave frequency uninterrupted on that radio, so you get everything. Also comes with the AM band, so you can listen to local AM stations, news and sports radio, and religious talk. FM radio, you can listen to the latest hits. Also comes with the long wave band, which if you're in Europe, you're going to be able to hear some stations on that too, such as the BBC World Service, Radio France, Radio Luxembourg, a Romanian station, and a few Nordic broadcasts as well, on the long wave band. And also, this receiver comes with the air band. Allows you to listen to aircraft coming in and moving out of your local airports. Hear the pilots in the control tower chatting it up. I think that's very interesting. It also comes with synchronous tuning, which means, say that you're listening to a broadcast, okay, and on a frequency a few kilohertz down, there's another station causing interference, right? So anything, right, say the broadcast is on 5,000 kilohertz, okay? And say there's a broadcast on 4,995 kilohertz, which is broadcasting that's causing interference to the broadcast on those frequencies below 5,000 kilohertz. With synchronous tuning, you can block that out, and you could still listen to your broadcast clearly. So it's like, in a very layman's way to say, it eliminates interference from other stations, or it's a way to kind of bypass that if possible. And also comes with USB and LSB modes, so that's upper sideband and lower sideband, which is good if you want to listen to ham operators, ships, airplanes, etc. But it also comes with, I believe, the ability to have 300 presets, has a background light. Also, the radio comes with a clock, of course, the ability to set alarms, and many other features, including a scan feature And as I said, the antenna is great, and also you could get an external long wire antenna as well. You can plug in and increase the reception. Now you got to realize with a radio, though, it may seem at first that reception isn't the greatest. Okay, if you hear any sort of noise interference, if it's really noisy and staticky, move the antenna near your window, and that should be good. Or if the weather is nice, go outside, and you'll see how it's all gone. And then start looking for stations. Okay. Remember this, right? There's gonna be a little button that says SW with a little up arrow and down arrow. And just press that button, it will take you to a shortwave broadcast band. The higher frequencies are good during the day, so if it's daytime where you are, listen to those frequencies and scan those, more likely to hear stations. And at night, scan the lower frequencies, and just check around, hunt for them. Not everything's going to be full of stations or interesting ones, but hunt for it. That's part of the fun in shortwave radio. You get to hunt for what you want. And it gives you a greater feeling of satisfaction when you're able to reel in that station you wanted to hear. But anyways, I recommend the Texan PL660. It's around $100. Let me see. The PL660. It's around between $85 and $100, but it's worth every penny. Every penny it is. And just a great receiver. Thank you for writing. Greetings, Review Bro. My name is Ted. In the last few months, I've been a big fan of your shows. I went back through your channel and watched Idle Mind lectures and Average Day videos, and would love to see more in the future. Really enjoy your formal presentation, dry humor. If you would be so kind as to please answer a question of mine in VORW, I'd be very grateful. What do you think about shortwave radio stations shutting down, and do you think they should continue to broadcast even in a technological world such as the one we live in? Kind regards from a fan in Australia, from Ted. Well, thank you, Ted, and definitely the Average Day videos will continue on. Idle Mind, hopefully, as well. I think shortwave stations shutting down, it's a very sad reality, you know. I think in a worst-case scenario, they should be reduced. If that's going to keep it going longer, you know, to first world media-rich countries, reduced at best, but not totally eliminated, because there's always going to be a few listeners out there. Always will be a few. For instance, stations like Radio Havana, Cuba, which broadcast nightly to North America on 5 frequencies at the same time, you know, not even targeting anywhere different, just to the same place on 5 frequencies. If they had to reduce it to just 1 frequency, I'd rather that than they just shut down altogether. You know. I think that stations should broadcast, especially where necessary. 2 parts in the globe where that is, or 3 actually, is the Amazon and Brazil, Ethiopia and Eritrean borders, and North-South Korean border. I think that's where they will still be essential for years to come. And, you know, otherwise, I think they should be... I personally think that they shouldn't do anything to them. I think they should leave them be, but I'd rather them be limited, but still broadcast worldwide, than totally be gone forever. I hope that helped. Thank you, Ted, for writing. Hello, Review Brother. To respond to the question about 3 wishes, I would make only 1 wish. My 1 wish would be to be able to sit in your office/pizza nook and consume pizza. Maybe even watch you do a review. Or sit on the Idle Mind couch and, quote-unquote, shortwave and chill, unquote. But of course, it's just a wish, right? I thank you for responding to my somewhat lengthy questionnaires, and just to remark, apologies if some of the questions I ask are not suitable to be read on air. I try not to ask too many personal questions, but I understand if some of them you do not feel like reading. I do thank you for responding to one of my questions without reading it. I guess it meant a lot to me. And I guess I'll start off with a question I will not be offended to if you do not want to answer. The After hearing your short story, answer is yes. On to more innocuous questions. Do you go to buffets very often, and what are your thoughts on them? Well, buffets, and buffets aren't something I frequent. They aren't something I frequent, you know. I mean, I'll go to them, but very, very rarely. Usually I just prefer the meal for mine to be just served up hot and fresh and not to have been sitting in some sort of styrofoam, bin. And, or some aluminum foil bin that's been sitting there lukewarm for 5 hours, having everyone's grubby hands touching it. The one buffet I liked was the Pizza Hut buffet of the early 2000s. Oh, but review, bro, you weren't born since 2005. No, I was born in the 90s, So I've been alive through that. I have. I'm not 12. But the fact of the matter is that the Pizza Hut buffet of the early 2000s was always nice. Kind of get the cook who just put out whatever he or she wanted to make. How often do you go to formal events such as funerals or weddings, and do you have any go-to suits for them? Very rarely. I really don't have a big family, don't know many people, so very, very rarely. I remember the last two things I went to was a funeral in 2012 and a funeral in 2014. And in both of those, I just wear the same thing. I wear a black three-piece suit, white shirt with cufflinks, and black tie, and a black overcoat, depending on the weather. And that's just what I wear, For a wedding, it'd probably just be a more innocuous suit. Because you can't it's the silly tradition, but you can't outdress, the people getting married. I haven't been to a wedding since, I don't know, it's been 9 years or so now. What kind of shaving equipment do you use? Classic razor blade and soap, or modern safety razor and gel? Or the modern one, it's just... I've never been a real hairy person. You don't see a 5 o'clock shadow on me perpetually, so I just don't need to invest a lot of money into that all. What is your policy on ice and drinks beside water, such as soda? Do you still go to ice only for non-water drinks? No. For non-water drinks, anything goes. I just put in a number of ice cubes, sometimes even crushed ice. But the 2 ice cube rule only applies for water. What are your internet bookmarks / favorites? I'm using a different computer right now, so I can't really... The only thing I have bookmarked here is the program As I Please from WBAI. And that's it. But, I had the web SDRs and something for caffeinated water. Some interesting little bookmarks on the other computer. Thanks as always. Until next time. Well, thank you for writing, and thank you for your questions. I always appreciate them. Dear Review Bra, I come to you having recently tasted the worst energy drink I've ever had the misfortune of trying. Rockstar Boom, in all caps. Whipped strawberry. The only way I can describe it is if someone took a cheap energy drink, plopped a glob of store-brand strawberry ice cream in a can, shook it around. Please review this strawberry-tinged abomination so that others will not suffer the same fate I did. Or maybe you'll like it, I don't know. You don't need to read this message on VOW. Well, I read it anyways. I just wanted to put it in a simple request. Long-time supporter and always happy to see the success of your channel. Kind regards. Well, thank you, and you got a free replay on VORW, but that does sound horrible. Rockstar Boom, whipped strawberry. Rockstar's been, been doing okay. I remember the first time I ever tried Rockstar in 2011, I hated it. But then they kind of changed up their act, but we'll see. Every company has its fault somewhere. On to the next. Hello, Review Bra, huge fan. So glad you're not letting the haters get in your way, and in Mr. Kanye West's words, quote, "If they hate, then let them hate, and watch the money pile up." In this case, watch the subscribers and views pile up. There are many people who would sorely miss you if you decided to end this channel, especially if it's due to some sad internet trolls. Anyway, just a few things I wanted to reach out about. Are you still looking a name for your drink review segment? If so, I'd like to throw Catch the Taste into the ring. It is from a legendary McCain Punch commercial from Canada circa 1994, featuring Toronto Blue Jays superstar Roberto Alomar. Here's a link to the commercial, and there's a YouTube link there. Also, yesterday I was walking down the street eating a McChicken, and I thought, wonder if Review Bra would ever combine a night walk with a running on empty review. I think the logistics of this could be challenging on different levels, but just wanted to tell you it crossed my mind. Keep up the good work, Review Bra. There are so many of us out there who look forward to your content. Well, thank you for writing. And, Kanye West, I'm not a big fan of Mr. West. That is a true quote, just let them do what they do and benefit off of their hatred. Catch the Taste is an interesting one. I've had a few contenders now, and that is a good one. Catch the Taste. Hello, everyone. This is Catch the Taste. I think that could work. And a night walk of running on empty review. Well, that'd be an interesting combination for sure. I don't know how I'd get the lighting to be good. I mean, if I were on the move, or if I was sitting under a street light, or what. But that's interesting. Interesting combination that I never really thought about. Well, thank you for writing. Hello there. I just would like to thank you for all the content you put out on a weekly basis, especially for the VORW. Very nice to listen to when I'm doing my various tasks throughout the day. I'm a very big fan, and I just want to say you're a good guy, and you shouldn't let anyone tell you otherwise. I also wanted to give a response to the 3 wishes question you gave out. I think the key is not to ask for anything world-changing, as you never know what could happen with consequences. My first wish would be for enough money to live a comfortable life in the suburbs with internet, entertainment for the rest of my life. My second wish would be to have my very own library that has every book ever published easily accessed. Now, I know that there would be many books that are complete garbage, but it would still be worth it to read many, many great books. And my third wish would have to be for my dog's mange skin disease to go away. I know this is a personal wish, but honestly, that's what I would ask for. Sorry for typing out this big paragraph. Thank you for reading. From Brandon. Well, thank you for writing, Brandon. I think that'd be pretty neat to have, like, this giant, maybe, like, underground library, that you can type in a book, and, it'll come up, and, be able to read the book. I think that's very interesting. You'll be able to read all the great classics without having to go online searching for it, or going to the library and digging around. I think that would be very interesting, and I appreciate the third wish, too. And I'm sorry for your dog, and, the poor thing has to deal with that. Well, thank you for writing. Greetings, Review Bra. If I had 3 wishes, I won't spend them immediately like a fool. Instead, I'd strategically place them out to fulfill my greatest desires. My first wish would be an Angriest Whopper with a side of jalapeno chicken fries, as well as Dr. Pepper for the drink. This would make me nice and full and satisfy me for that day. Meanwhile, the less intelligent man wasted all 3 wishes by now, but here I am with 2 more and a full stomach. I would likely have my second wish granted the day after. For that one, I would want some Korean barbecue, accompanied by some hot tea. Finally, I could use some new pairs of slacks and pants, so that would be my final wish. Hope you're doing well. I think I've mentioned them before, so I apologize in advance, but I suggest you try out MOD Pizza, or perhaps Mode, MOD Pizza, if you've got them near you. They make my favorite pizza around here, and their customization options are akin to Subway. However, unlike Subway, their quality is very high. They do delicious, thin-crusted pizza with a lot of options on toppings and sauces. I recommend the Brussels sprouts on top. It's a great topping that I've never seen offered on any other pizza establishment. Again, I'm getting deja vu, so I apologize if I've suggested this before. Stay safe. Don't trust what the stars are saying. Keep your eyes towards the ground, and you can't lose your way. Well, thank you for that. That was a nice little motivational quip. And I don't think you've written that before. I've never heard of that before. MOD Pizza. Mod Pizza. M0D. MOD. Founded in Seattle, it says. 90 locations in the US and plans to expand to the UK. Let's see their locations. Let's see where they are. Let's see this. Is there a little map? Oh, I thought it was only West Coast. There are. Let's see if there's any around here. Doesn't look like it. There's a few in North Carolina. Bunch near DC and Baltimore. A couple near New York. Few lone ones near St. Louis. What's neat, they're like kind of near all the cities. Maybe one will expand over here one day, since it looks like they are certainly expanding. Nice wishes. The only thing I have to say though is, are the pants, are they pleated pants, or are they otherwise? Because that'll change my whole view of this situation here. This person writes, my 3 wishes would be 2 million monies, a loaded shotgun, and a pet angler fish. So I could have the 2 million bucks to waste on whatever I wanted for a few years. After that I could kill myself, and angler fish are just cool. Well, angler fish, I don't know if they're really cool. They're interesting, you know. Guess I have to have a dark room for it, and have it in a nice big tank to swim around in. Maybe use the $2 million to buy like an extremely fancy aquarium that has all the pressure that's pressurized to, you know, really have it in ideal conditions and simulate the sea floor, and, you know. And then maybe have another angler fish with the leftover money. Hello, John. Hope all is well. Recently, I was thinking about your past videos. A couple videos about 3 months back where you'd review food in your car late at night. Absolutely love these videos, and if you ever get the chance to do that again, I'd love to see them. Those videos had such a captivating tone to them, from the dimly lit car and in the car to your sporific voice. It reminded me of an old noir-style film, especially of the vintage suits. I imagine you as a detective, after working your shift overtime and getting in your car, with you having the hankering to go to the nearest fast food chain to get some sustenance to hold you over to your next investigation. But hey, that's just the way I think. Keeps the mind busy, and having a good imagination is great for storytelling, similar to what you do in your VORWs. Nevertheless, I'd love to see these types of reviews again. All the best, Nick. Well, thank you for writing, Nick. And, let's just say you might get another one of those views real soon. Wink, wink. So you never know, they might be making a comeback pretty soon. This next letter reads, at present it is approaching the early AM on the 8th of May, and I've just finished listening to VORW number 120. I've been following the wildfires in Fort McMurray, as every news station in Canada is covering them. A true disaster, to say the least. In the middle of this commotion, a few fires have started in my part of the country, one being less than half an hour from the city, and another few to the north, whose smoke blew into the city. Our province has just sent firefighters and equipment to Alberta, and with Fort McMurray in the headlines, we were, quote, spooked, for lack of a better word. The sky is a dingy yellow-brown color, and a blue-gray haze lingered for almost a whole day. Days have passed, and it looks like everything will be fine. However, having almost experienced a similar situation as the Mac, I still can't disagree with your remarks about the strange beauty of those scenes. Congrats on 50,000 subscribers, if I haven't previously mentioned. I'm glad you aren't going to throw in the towel over to a new wave of trolls. Frankly, I think you've come too far, and don't let them win. There are no brakes on this train, my friend. Here's to 50,000 more subs. He just said skim this, but I'll read it. If I can understand their reasoning from a business perspective, I still can't help but feel Monster or Slime with the sudden receptiveness to the channel. But as they say in Canada, that's the way she goes. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is there a bit of tension growing between you, as an autonomous artist, and the enticements of other entities which may not want to influence the channel? Thank you, as always, for such great content. Salutations. Well, thank you. And, I wouldn't necessarily put attention, you just gotta... All the things you get, you just gotta pick and choose, Never rush through it. You just gotta look carefully. Gotta pick and choose, gotta see who wants what. And, make decisions just on a case-by-case basis. And that's what I do. Okay. Let's see what we have here. Hello again, Review Bro. Just finished 119, and 119 and a half, or 120 if you will, and I thought they were delightful. In response to your question about the 3 wishes, I would first like to wish for a couple $1 million, perhaps 50 to 75 million, said I'm set for life, and I have enough to communicate, or enough to support my family as well. Secondly, I would wish to be perfect in every language, so that I could be anywhere in the world and know how to communicate with. And my third wish, I would wish for... My third wish, I would wish for all my illnesses and medical issues to be cured. The last one is a bit more personal than exotic. I heard you read my letter in the last VORW, and I was delighted to see you remembered me, brought a delightful smile to my face, and lightened up my day. Also, the birthday wishes were appreciated. For some questions for you, as I know many of them have a small list of questions. Question 1. If you could only use one of the color cones in your eyes, red, green, or blue, which would you use? I'd use blue. I know it'd be perhaps difficult at night, but I think that's the one I would use, to be honest. What is your opinion on posters from movies and games and books and such? The ones you buy at stores for around $8 and put them on the wall. Well, I think they can be, a means of expression regarding your thoughts on the film and movie and etc. I don't really have any posters. I've never, I've said I'll just save my money on food than buy a poster. But, if you got the money and you want to do it, it's okay. And do you have any interest in ancient Greek lore or Greek mythology at all? The Council of Gods and the things that come with them. Not particularly. I've been focusing more on modern literature and lore, rather than ancient at the moment, but, interests can shift, and I'm always open to trying it out. Either way, thanks for reading my letters and remembering me. Keep up the good work. Sincerely, Steve. Well, thank you for writing. Steve writes another letter, in conjunction with this one. No opinion. This person writes, you still watch NASCAR at all? From time to time I do. I always make my trip to the NASCAR races. So, always doing that. But, I still watch NASCAR. You know, Johnson is still my favorite driver, and I still root for him. This person writes, I will buy you a meal, no doubt. I also want to buy you a dinner and get a fine dining report. Anywhere you feel comfortable with. I think that'd be interesting. Hey, reviewer bro, I'll cut right to it. Here's a question or 3. You suddenly come into a large sum of money on the condition that you use it to open a fast food restaurant. What is the theme of your restaurant that sets it apart from the rest? What style of food will it serve? Will you star in advertisements for it? Looking forward to your response, a fan from New Zealand. Well, opening a fast food restaurant is one of the worst things I could do with my money. But, the theme of the restaurant, I mean, it's fast food. I'd make the decor nice, but I'd want the attention to really be on the food. I think it'd be in subdued colors. I'd try to maybe go for like an old type of, maybe pub style, you know? Just something that's a little classier, but still throws an emphasis directly to the food. The food, of course, would be traditional fast food, burgers, chicken, fried or otherwise, wings, sides, etc. And in terms of advertisements, I think I'd star in a few advertisements, so I'd kind of be like the spokesman at the end, you know? I'd rather get someone more charismatic to star in them at first. This person writes 3 wishes. Salute a me. What a great question. I needed to let it percolate around in my garbage bin of a brain for a while before anything interesting emerged, but I managed to boil it down to this. Question 1, or wish number 1, health. To have and be maintained in optimal physical health. Wish 2, wealth. To have and be maintained in optimal economic health. And 3, fictional worlds, all, no matter what medium, being real as alternate universes which I can freely travel to and from, interact in, and have no difficulties or resources or knowledge. At this point, one would need to lawyer up and actually write out the wishes so as to cover all contingencies and stop any possible loopholes. Experience of role-playing and base evilness of DMs as a group, not to mention the plots of fairy tales, teaches one to be, shall we say, cautious. This way, you can enjoy the real world and also get experiences as your favorite alternate reality, every one which you have written for yourself. Best regards. Please continue the great work on your channel, and I look forward to more reviews from Jackie Week. Well, thank you for writing. And the very interesting wishes, of course, physical and economic health are some things which many people have wished for. This person just writes, Burger King Whopper Dog, please and thanks. Well, it's already been reviewed, so you're welcome. Hello there. I tried to contact you on Reddit, but I haven't gotten a response yet, so I figure I'll try this too. I'm a 21-year-old individual living in the Midwest, and I've discovered your videos recently, and I'm utterly fascinated by them. I wanted to contact you simply with these questions. Do you enjoy doing these videos genuinely, or is there something else you'd rather do? No, I genuinely enjoy them. If I hated them, I wouldn't be doing them. So no, I genuinely do it. I genuinely take the time out of every day to work on the channel and manage it. And, it's kind of like it's my job. But it's a job I enjoy. But it really is my job. So, no, I definitely do enjoy working on the videos. I'm curious about the inner workings of your mind and keen to figure you out. Well, there's nothing to really figure out about me. I'm not a character. I'm just me. And I do reviews and VORW shows where you get to hear me blabber on for a while. That was from Danny. Well, thank you for writing. sometimes I can't help but wonder if these people who don't specifically mention VORW actually ever know that I respond to their letters, but we responded to it. Truth be told, I can say I'm never a fan of people using the term, to me, figured you out. It almost takes away any emphasis that you're even human. It's more like, you're this lab rat and they're just trying to see what the hell's wrong with you, So I'm never a fan of when people use that terminology, whether they mean it in that regard or otherwise, but still, I'm just never a fan of it. Hello, review bro. Sorry for not writing in much lately. I was quite busy with school and always tried to catch up with the latest VORWs before writing in. Inevitably, he would release a new one before I could write my letter. So to answer this week's question, if I had 3 wishes, there might be the power to control mortality, time, and the ability to, quote, download knowledge. That's pretty neat, to download knowledge. In VORW 120, you mentioned the Fort McMurray wildfire, and I was impressed with your knowledge about Alberta, since I am a resident of the province. The Alberta town of Slave Lake was also devastated by wildfire a few years ago. The weather has been unusually hot and dry here lately, and it's not unusual to have over 10 wildfires active in the province at any given summer. Are there any sites or places in Alberta that interest you? The biggest tourist draws of the province are the Rocky Mountains and Melling Lake, as well as the deserty Badlands and dinosaur excavations of Drumheller. As always, thanks for the great content and keep up the amazing work. Well, thank you. I'd have to do some research regarding that, but pretty much what you mentioned there. If I went to Alberta, I'd like to really examine it from a scenic perspective. Like to kind of go out to the Canadian Rockies. If you could do a scenic drive there, perhaps. Visit that nice lake. And, of course, the dinosaur site, so I think that would be pretty interesting to see as well. Thank you for writing. A very regular writer. I've known of him since 2014 when I started these shows, and thank you for sticking around with us since then. Howdy, Maestro. Maestro, of course. In all my years of using YouTube, almost a decade now, I haven't so much as made one single comment on any video, nor have I ever contacted any content creator. So this is fun. I'll get to it. The 3 wishes question. I'm honestly not sure if wishing for omnipotence or any godlike power is cheating, but that's what I'd probably do. I'm not even gonna lie. I've had the idea for a short story about a man who somehow becomes God, basically. Starts off light-hearted superhero fantasies and the like, and then descends into the utmost depths of human depravity. If power corrupts, what kind of corruption would infinite power bring about? A non-cheese answer to your question. Telekinesis, because I'm lazy. Teleportation, because I'm lazy. And invulnerability, I can't avoid having one cheesy wish. Speaking of which, I used to watch this show called Are You Afraid of the Dark in my late 20s, so I'm not sure if this was before your time, but if you've ever seen it. Anyway, there's an episode where this kid gets a genie to grant him some wishes, and of course things go awry. And at the end, someone wishes for 1,000,000 wishes, but it turns out that wishing for more wishes imprisons the wishmaker, turning them into a genie, and releases the previous genie. Never forgotten that one for some reason. Good show, though. I've heard of the show. Might have even watched it years ago, but not lately. But I think that's an interesting episode. Finally, he writes, if you ever become masochistic enough to visit the barren wastes of Oklahoma, I highly recommend a place called Charlie's Chicken. I can only vouch for the one in my hometown, but their chicken chunk dinner is the god emperor of chicken tendies as far as I'm concerned. Having some, even as I type this message. Sorry for the block of text. I'm just reading all this back in my voice, in your voice, and it's amusing. Thanks for your time from a new fan. Well, thank you for writing, and hey, thank you for stopping in as a new fan and viewer. Thank you. If I went to Oklahoma, maybe I'll try Charlie's Chicken. I'd also go to Enid, Oklahoma, and pay Glenn Hauser a visit. Let's see what else there is. And dear review bro, After hearing such good things proclaimed by you and your followers about Five Guys, I decided to visit the closest establishment of theirs whilst on a trip to my local city. Of course, on entry you do notice the high prices, especially the drinks, but undeterred, I approached the counter, ordered a plain burger and some tomato, onion, gherkins, mustard, and ketchup, just to keep the burger simple enough to give a judgment on the overall quality of the main ingredients, such as the beef. The burger was exceptional, and I felt the price to be reasonable considering the quality in comparison to places like McDonald's, etc. I also had the Cajun fries, which are high in quality as well, and the quantity took me by surprise. On an interesting note, my friend initially decided to order a hot dog, but remembering the disdain you had for a fellow Five Guys visitor who ordered a hot dog rather than their signature burger, as he detailed in his message a few months back, I convinced him otherwise. We both left extremely satisfied. If you don't mind me asking, what was your favorite subject at school? I was always a fan of history. The most useless subject, but it doesn't get you anywhere, but it was my favorite. It was the one I was best at, history. All the best review, bro. Your videos and content are my favorite on YouTube. I wish you well in your fight against the indecent comments you receive. I believe in the good end will win the day, and the trolls will get bored. Sincerely yours from John. Well, thank you for writing, John. Let's see what else we got here. I was thinking, before we move on to the next letter, I was actually, I don't know why it came to mind, but I was thinking, for whatever reason, maybe it's just because of the setting, I'm sitting here at this desk at the window. You can see, in the latest reviews, this desk with the computer and, the curtains there. If you're wondering what happened with the curtains, the cat kind of got to him. There's a cat here. 2 cats, actually. But, I sit here at the window in the fading daylight. And I don't know what brought me to think of, maybe, as I said, the atmosphere, maybe not, but I was thinking about creepy pastas, for whatever reason. I know it's a trend, it's kind of all but died down. But, it's, I don't know, I thought it was, for whatever reason, I like to read them sometimes, and I decided to read them for a while. And I don't know, some are better than others, Some are just an awful lot better than others. I'm just curious. I've been reading a lot. If you've ever read little creepypastas, those are, amateur short stories of horror, written and then thereafter spread on the internet. I've been reading a number of them lately, and I'll tell you which ones let's just do this. I'll let you. Let's see. Let's see what some people say are some great ones. I don't know. There's, of course, Jeff the Killer, the creepypasta, which I think was an idiotic one based off of a picture. Ben Drowned, the only good gaming one. The Russian Sleep Experiment, which was a little scare, but that was it. Psychosis is a great one. Highly recommend that one. Smiling Man is okay. Deals with night walks, of course. And there were a few others. I read this. There's one that I do recommend. It was one which was titled The Strangers. I highly recommend it. It's not that scary, but I recommend it. The one creepypasta called No End House was okay. It was alright. Did a good job at least explaining it. The one creepypasta 1999 was it was good, but they keep adding on to it and they just don't know how to end it, so it seems. The creepypasta Candle Cove, it's called, I think, is a very good one. I recommend it. Those are some of my favorites, at least. Slender Man is just so used at this point. But I was just reading a bunch, and, as I say, in the world of these short stories, some are most certainly better than others. Now back to the letters. This person writes, "Hello, Review Bra. First, with regards to your July 27th, 2015 Long John Silver's review, in which you made an annotation asking where viewers found it, I saw it linked to Fit around that time, which is when I first saw your channel. Second, in a recent VORW, you mentioned that you don't know whether people watch your channel to make fun of you or if they actually like the content, and based on the letters you've since received, it would seem like many of your fans don't watch you ironically. I'd like to add on to this by saying that I enjoy your content unironically, and it isn't even very relevant to me. I don't allow myself to eat the type of food that you review. I don't know next to nothing about shortwave, and my fashion sense is terrible. What makes your videos worth watching to me is your charisma and presentation, and I think the water review is a great example of this. You found a way to make a 13-minute video on the taste of water watchable. Beyond that, there's something quietly audacious about what you do. Before 2012, no one was asking for serious reviews of the particulars of cheap junk food, nor were they asking for it to be delivered by them in a suit. No one asked for it, but you did it anyways. When people made fun of you for it, you just kept going. In a time when it seems like every action and preference needs to be justified by conforming or contrasting to the zeitgeist, you don't even seem to acknowledge it. You give a real impression that you keep doing it your way, whether 200 people are watching or 200,000. I think that's what sets the haters off. You defy their expectations without giving them a reason for doing so they're forced to invent their own justifications. This is already too long, but the last thing I wanted to add is that since the reason I, and I suspect many others, watch your channel is you, more than it is the specific content, you shouldn't be afraid to move away from your traditional reviews if you want to. If staying the course is what you prefer, then by all means do so, but if you prefer changing your content it says that I prefer you changing your content than to shutting down your channel altogether. Sincerely, My Chemical Bromance. So thank you for writing, My Chemical Bromance. And I thought that was really a nice message that you wrote there. Even though Fit was particularly harsh on me. Not as harsh as a cooking board, but pretty harsh back in 2013. Glad you came over and, you just saw the channel and maybe you liked what you saw. And, hey, pleasure to have you here. And thank you for writing. This person recommends a video. I thought this would interest you, where radar was born. I'm from this area of the world, albeit many moons ago. I enjoy your shortwave broadcast very much, from Tim. And this video, you can take a look at it if you wish as well. It's called History of Orford Ness, Suffolk. That's Orford space Ness in Suffolk, and talks about the history of radar and where it was born. He says, and this to go with it as well. It says, Cobra Mist, what is it? And it's an interesting thing to kind of look at and view, in a sense. This person writes, "Hello, how are you? I'm new to the channel and impressed by it. I really love the connection you have towards your viewers. Most reviewers or YouTubers don't connect towards their viewers like you do. I could listen to you for hours upon hours. Sometimes I wonder if you were voted best dressed in high school. Anyways, just wanted to thank you for the content. It really helped me throughout my days and make me laugh and smile. Goodbye." Well, thank you for writing, and thank you for your message of support. I couldn't listen to myself talk for hours, but it amazes me that others can. The person also writes, "Sorry for messaging you again, but I have one question. Do you listen to oldies?" I'm talking about the Beach Boys, Dion and the Belmonts, the Animals, the Shangri-Las, Herman's Hermits, etc. I know you like shortwave, but I'm thinking of giving it a chance. I think musical tastes are similar, so maybe you can listen to those bands I listed. Have a good day." Well, thank you for your second message, and I do listen to oldies, many of those very well-known bands from the period. Of course, the Beach Boys, the Animals, Herman's Hermits, and everyone listens to the Beatles, but, and from many other bands from the 60s as well. But yes, absolutely. there's a station on shortwave if you are interested in getting into it. The station's called the Mighty KBC, and it broadcasts on 9925 kilohertz, and it broadcasts weekly to North America every Saturday evening in the U.S. time between usually 8 p.m. and 11 p.m. on 9925, and they play a variety of oldies too, which you might enjoy. I like mostly 90s rock, 90s and early 2000s rock and alternative and even pop. But oldies are very nice too. A lot of those old tunes have just something that music today doesn't have, you know? Speaking of the mighty KBC and shortwave, though, you know that shortwave is, in a very precarious state, and the mighty KBC, unfortunately, is having some financial difficulties, sadly to say. So the fact of the matter is, they're just literally going week to week off of donations, and they don't even know if they're going to be on the air next week anymore, And that's why I say the importance of writing in and supporting broadcasters that, that you like. And it's best to just let them know you listen and support them before it's too gone, just like that one gentleman, Simon Lockley, who I found out was dead, and I couldn't even do anything about it. Never got to let him know that I enjoyed his programs so much. So same thing with the mighty KBC. They don't even know if they're going to be around next week anymore, if they'll even have the money to keep broadcasting, but best to let them know before it's too late. We'll read this one, and I'll take a little break, and then we'll be right back. Hello, originally found your channel through subreddit r/meIRL, and I have to say really enjoy the water review. I'm glad I stumbled upon your channel. I actually like the methodical, if you will, videos, and your videos seem to satisfy my desire. Nonetheless, listening to VORW 119, I liked your short story a lot, and I want to say the comments saying rude, hateful things to your videos were blatant brigades from channels or people like Leafy. But back to the short story, you mentioned how the main character was based off of you combined with made-up characterization, and I think that's super interesting. Furthermore, I find interesting is that one of the contextual characters is a murderer who kills young men with blonde hair. I mean, there's no doubt you included that for a reason, and think that either the scene where someone is basically restrained to the metal table is supposed to shift into a prequel of the murderer mentioned before, or somehow the murderer or someone who was inspired by the murder decided to get into it. Anyways, I like the story and I like the creativity. Additionally, I would not worry about the hateful comments, mainly because they usually come from some sort of brigade, but also because the ones you mentioned in the video will probably have a new target already. I'm a brand new fan, but I enjoy your videos. Keep up the good work. Looking forward to more content. Take care. Well, thank you for writing, and thank you for your comments on the story. And next program, I hope, I don't want to rush it, but next program, I hope to get this story completed. This is VORW, the voice of the Report of the Week. Back and continuing on, the next letter reads, not sure if I already sent one of these, so please disregard if so. Update, it says. It rained, sleeted, and snowed for 4 or 5 days straight. My area should be safe from the fire. This is the first update I've gotten. That's good news, though. Honestly, that's honestly, the weather. This was in regards to one of the messages about the Fort McMurray fire, and that is definitely good news. That's one of the things that at least could still be in your side at times. The weather could help quell the fire. Unfortunately, at the same time, the weather and conditions can also fuel the fire. Unfortunately. The next message says, will you do a review of Rockstar Punched? A couple of my friends are drinking them lately, but I can't trust their opinions. Well, perhaps. I don't know if I've done some sort of Rockstar reviews. But if I haven't done it already, I'll definitely consider it. I've got a few Rockstars in the fridge here. I don't know which ones they are. Finally, the last message in the inbox says, hi, Review Bro. Just wanted to say I watch all your videos you upload. Enjoy them very much. Hope you have an amazing time traveling and experience new things. Have a nice day, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Well, thank you very much for writing, and I already am having a great time here, Checking the spam folder. No, nothing there. Just some spam advertisements going where they belong this time around. Nothing accidentally in the spam folder. Next up, we're checking the emails. Let's go to gmail.com right now, and we'll check out the Rep Week Interview 1 email. May 7th, 2016 was when we uploaded VORW number 120. So therefore, May 7th. Alright, so we'll see what emails have come in since the 7th. That's 10 days ago. And let's see this. Let's see. Well, we're here at the wrong email, so we'll have to switch it over to the Rep Week Interview 1. Okay. Let's switch it on over. Hope everyone's doing okay. Okay, let's get to Rep Week Interview 1. Let's see how many messages we got to tend to. Again, from May 7th onward. Let's see. Is it going to be flooded, or is it going to be a mixed bag? Okay, we'll start with this one, and let's work on. This is titled with just a question mark. It features a picture. Wish 1, it says, a business that earns $500,000 per year legitimately. Wish 2, cooking skills. Wish 3, that the world was more aesthetically pleasing. And that's all that there is in this message. Cooking skills, yeah. Oftentimes we all wish we could cook 5-star meals ourselves, right? This one's titled VORW 120 Questions and Concerns. Salutations of you, comrade. I've been listening to VORW for ages now, and I've written in before, so I'm writing you again through the wondrous invention known as email. To answer the wishes question, I'd wish for a time machine so I can go back in time and prevent the library at Alexandria from being destroyed in order to have more advanced technology in the modern day of 2016. Second wish is for a fix to the American economic situation, so I'd be able to have a job to pay for my hobbies, if they haven't been affected by the defense of the library, of course. And my final wish would be to live in close proximity to any of the Disney resorts, simply because I absolutely love them. So in general, comments about the VORW. I really like the idea about the water taste test, because it would truly be a sight to behold. Keep this short and sweet, so I'll leave off some encouraging words. Keep doing what you're doing, because if you don't do it, nobody else will. See you in outer heaven, from Andrew. Well, thank you, Andrew. And yes, the Library of Alexandria, that was truly a tragedy, you know? But then you gotta say, heck, if that didn't happen, who knows how this world would be? Maybe better, maybe worse? Who can say? From our good friend, who has written us many times before, Dear John Bellotti, I'm curious to know your thoughts on the following religion, specifically whether or not you'd shake hands with a member of that religion. He asks me, would you shake the hand of a Muslim, Jew, Christian, including Father Stairs, Hindu, or Buddhist? Thanks very much, from Pete Rumble Rumble Ice Cream Crumble Smith. Well, I just do whatever is customary to that religion. If shaking hands is the thing to do, I'll do that. If bowing is that thing to do, I'll do that. If kneeling is that thing to do, I'll do that. But whatever's just customary to that, whatever works best. And he writes in again, another one. Dear Joan of Arc, you mentioned in a recent VORW that you were sure there would be issues with the world peace, although you couldn't think of a specific reason. I'd put forward a reason of my own. The idea of world peace to me conjures up in my mind a one world order idea in which everyone is too concerned over job security or having enough money to put food on the table to be able to rebel against an oppressive government. To me, it is a world where there cannot be even a distant glimmer of hope that there would be a violent rebellion a la French Revolution. Another thing to note is the amount of free movement around countries would be so great that all cultures would essentially be mixed into one homogeneous goo, that they wouldn't be able to have a palette of different cultures like we do now. Your doctor, and the best way to get a chance to win the game is to have the right thing to remember, that you can get a cheap and easy way for me to do it. I don't know what you think. Jill, from Jack and Jill. No, not the effing. Censor this word, please. Yep, Sandler, Kami, the classic nursery rhyme. Alright. Okay. Understood. Fan mail for 121. Hello again, Review Bra. Hope all is well and I hope you're doing good. Your question is quite difficult to answer, so I've been pondering for a while. Should I wish for things that would be for the greater good, or should I indulge myself? Quite the dilemma. Anyway, 3 things I would wish for would be a large amount of money, very obvious choice, but by wishing this, I could both indulge myself and help others. I could both afford things I want, and I could also give money to those who need it, or donate to charity. 2, brilliant musical talent. I love playing and making music. I'm not very good at it, and I love to be able to indulge in my passion and be able to create music that's actually good for once. And 3, to meet you in real life. You are so cool. And here's a couple questions for you. What's the strangest thing you've seen whilst on a night walk? Not necessarily anything supernatural, although that may be the case, but something generally odd or unusual or out of place. Well, fine. It wasn't during a night walk, but it was at night. I guess that's not a night walk, but it's something strange I saw. So I'll tell you that story. I've told it before on this on VORW, but I'll tell it again. It was back in early 2010. It was about January or February thereof. It was on a weeknight that I couldn't get to sleep. Now we all get those nights sometimes, of course. I mean, nowadays I just, I'm up through the night every night, until I just get too tired and go to sleep. But back when you were on a schedule, of course, I'm not on a real schedule anymore. But back when we were all on a schedule, of course, we all had to get to sleep at a relatively certain specific time, because there was a specific time which we had to wake up at, of course. But there were some nights, of course, which we weren't able to fall asleep at the time we were supposed to. Nowadays, you have in your possession sleep aids or what have you, but at the time I had none of that. And I couldn't get to sleep, so I was up. Well, I said, I'll get a book. I'll get a book, and I'll go to the office where there was a window with a good view over the street and over a few neighboring roads. And I said, well, I'll get this book, and I'll turn on a little desk light, and I'll sit at the window, and I'll just read and look out the window until I get tired and go to sleep. So I read. And I read. And time ticked by, and tiredness did not come. Well, it was around 3:30 a.m. when I see a car. I was looking out the window at that time. I was just trying to take in the night, even back then as a youngin'. And I was looking out the window, and I saw a car pull up the street. Now, that's not unusual. Cars traversed up and down my street quite frequently. But this car stopped in front of my neighbor's house, but in very good view of this window. Turned off the engine, and the driver sat there. Now, by the way, this isn't the story where the person was casing out the house. By the way, this is a different story. So, I'm sitting there, and, and I'm watching, and I see the driver just sitting in this car for what appears to be a very extended period of time, when all of a sudden, at around 4:15 a.m., I see this man run through my side yard. He must have been cutting through the backyards. He runs out into the street to the car. And you could tell these two people knew each other, And still I couldn't tell if it was a legitimate issue, if they were both being playful, or what it was. Or if it was a domestic dispute. There was there was a female behind the wheel of the car, and there was a guy that ran to the car. He opened up the door, he dragged her out, and took her to the sidewalk across the street. And he was there yelling at her, he was giving her the, real just, you effing this, you effing that, just yelling. Couldn't really make out too much, but I could certainly make that out. And took her up to the corner of the street They yelled for a bit. He, I think, took her phone and smashed it on the ground and everything. Then they went into the car and did some things I wouldn't describe in this VORW. And then they drove off. I thought it was quite odd and a quite the peculiar series of events there, from shock to fighting and then to a few other things. But I didn't do anything about it. I said, well, it's it's their business. I'm just here reading. And that was 2010. He also writes, have you been fishing? If so, how was it? Did you enjoy it? What fish did you catch? Do you go regularly? I don't go fishing regularly, but I have been fishing. I went fishing years ago with my father, who's alive and well, by the way. And I went fishing with him, just kind of, sat by the lake, and I forget the name of the fish. There are a few, small local fish. I think it could be a relaxing activity. I always feel bad for the fish, but I think it could be a relaxing little activity to kind of sit around and fish, something that's more my pace of things. I don't go regularly, though, but, I imagine I might go in the future at some point. He says, can't wait for the next VORW and next review. As always, keep up the good work, keep being you, and ignore the haters, brah, from Josh. Well, thank you for writing, Josh. Thank you for the nice questions. On to the next. Dear Reviewer, I'd like to share you a remarkable story related to fast food. Perhaps you and your listeners will enjoy this story, perhaps not, but hope everyone may take a lesson from this tale. Well, certainly, let's see it. I was going through an adventurous period of my life, traveling around the country by car and seeing sights that I had never seen, exploring the American landscape. I was in Arizona, deep in the heart of a hot, dry desert. I had driven for many miles on a small dirt road, and I began to see fewer and fewer signs of life. Eventually, I stopped my car on the side of the road and turned the engine off. I stood on the hood of the car for a while and took in the beautiful view of miles and miles of empty desert around me. When I got back into my car, I turned the key and the engine would not start. I looked at the temperature gauge, and I saw that my car had overheated. I cursed the fact that I had foolishly packed nearly no food or water on my drive, and then found that I had no cell phone service. So, I began to walk. I walked back in the direction I came for miles and miles. My legs began to hurt after an hour or two of walking, and my mouth became very dry. I had not eaten for a long time, and I began to panic. But I kept walking because there was nothing else for me to do. After several more hours, my shirt was soaked with sweat, my skin was burnt, and I was very tired and hungry. I feared that I would collapse in the desert, and no one would find me, but I continued on. After 4 more hours, nightfall set in, and the desert became cold. I was very, very hungry and extremely thirsty. I had gone nearly 14 hours without either in the hot desert. I needed food and drink desperately. It must have been around 2 a.m. the next day when I nearly quit and accepted my fate. I stopped and rested while sitting on a rock. I scanned the horizon and saw a faint, dim light. It was a sign of civilization, exactly what I needed to keep going. My spirits lifted. I walked and walked to the light and prayed that it wasn't a mirage. Once I reached the light, I saw it to be the neon sign of a Taco Bell, which was open 24 hours a day. My heart sank. I passed up the Taco Bell and continued walking. I remembered that my beloved review bra had recently given the Taco Bell Double D a 4.9 out of 10, which is well below average and not even worth my time, even with the dehydration, starvation, and all that. So I continued walking for another half an hour and luckily came upon a Whataburger, where I enjoyed a chicken sandwich and a large drink. I'm fortunate to say I am still alive and well, thanks to that Whataburger. Anyways, take from my story what you will, love the channel, and keep it up from Corey. Well, Corey, that was a beautiful story, and, you did the right thing. You did the right thing. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, Corey. On to the next here. Hey Review Bra, in your last VORW you mentioned that you were never the popular kid in high school, and that motivated me to write you since I was not either, and since then I've come into my own and have a wonderful life. What helped me the most in the dark times, doubting why I did anything, was actually finding internet communities back in the days of AOL chat rooms where I could find like-minded people. Those people became as important to me as any of my real-life friends. Hope my story could touch a note. If you have any denizens of the internet that played a good role in your life, I'd love to hear about them. On a channel-related note, what would the ideal burger joint be like? In other words, if you were to open one, what decisions would you make to optimize the experience? The ideal burger joint. Really, my ideal burger joint is Five Guys, you know. Again, as I said earlier, I would want to put an emphasis on food, though, you know. Some places are so caught up in the decor, it just detracts from the food, you're distracted by it, you know. I want to just put a clear emphasis on the food. I'd make it nice looking, but I want there to be an emphasis on the food. I want to try to make it as affordable as possible while still making a profit for the company. A bonus-related question regarding your trip to California. Did you manage to try surfing at all? And if not, if you're ever back on this coast, let me know. Lessons are on me. Your friend from California, Alex. I didn't ever get a chance to try surfing, believe it or not. I know California is famous for surfing, as is Hawaii, of course. But I imagine there are some good waves on the Gold Coast, as they say. And thank you for writing, Alex, and thank you a lot for the offer. That's very generous, should I say. Hey John, sorry about the delay. Usually get a chance to listen to the channel on a drive to work during the week, but they've been flying me around for work last week and running me ragged. But yeah, I just got your message. You got my contact info, so let me know where you want them sent. Now onto the VORW. I really enjoyed the opening to this short story. I noticed you are very descriptive in your character outlines. They're awesome. I was going to tell you that you may be interested in a book I read in college called Stephen King on Writing. It's mostly a candid memoir of how he, Stephen King, goes about his writing now, as well as how he would approach it as a younger man starting out. He explains what he calls pitfalls that writers make starting out, as well as tools to crafting their own style as a writer. I feel like it would be really helpful. There's also an audiobook version read by King himself. Really good stuff, especially while you're working on your craft. Also, I was cracking up when you mentioned the mob fronts in and around New Jersey. That was classic. I am Italian myself, as the name gives it away, and I lived in Caldwell as well as Bergen County, for a short period after college, and all those stereotypes were completely accurate. You should definitely, at some point, add those characters into one of your stories. And before I get going, let me address, as I've addressed before, don't let the clowns leaving moronic comments throw you off your game. Keep in mind these are simply buffoons who are scraping the crumbs off your hard work. On top of that, I'm willing to bet not a single one of these tomato cans have actually taken the time to listen or sit through a full video, or else they would be enjoying it like the rest of us. Just know the people who actually watch you have a ton of heart, and you are doing a great job. Either way, I'll catch up with you during the week. Keep punching. Well, thank you very much, and thank you for writing again. Long-time viewer and listener, all the way back to 2011, and thank you for writing. Dear Review Bra, I hope this message finds you well. I just recently came across your channel. You're posted on the 4chan board R9K, and I wanted to say that while a lot of trolls come from 4chan, there is a lot of genuine love for you on R9K. I personally think you're one of the most genuine guys I've ever watched. I have been listening to your VORWs and watching all your reviews for a few weeks now. Anyways, I'm writing in response to your recent segment here, where you discussed modern parenting. I believe that I was raised just right. My mother has always leaned towards helicopter parenting, while my father has always been more lenient, and this gave me a great balance. My mother kept me out of trouble, but my father let me get away with just enough to let me experience bits of the real world at a good pace. Examples being my mother restricting my presence on the internet, but my father letting me watch an R-rated movie here and there. I also wanted to say that I absolutely agree with you on smartphones. I remember I wasn't allowed to have a phone until I was 13 when it became necessary, and the only reason I was given an iPhone is because my father worked for a company that gave him an extra. I myself don't get internet. I myself didn't get internet addicted until I was around 12 or 13, so I had plenty of time to play outside and explore. Anyways, thanks for the great content. You never cease to make my week better. Your fan, Liam. Well, thank you for writing, Liam, and I agree, it's the way these kids are getting internet addicted today is, it's, people say, oh, you shouldn't be talking about these kids, they're 10 years younger than you, 15 years younger than you. But the fact of the matter is, the changes are so sweeping and so quick. You really can. Because it's so sweeping, so different. It's just so incredibly different. And, it's just insane. That's what I think. The fact of the matter is, internet, permeation in childhood is something that no generation has ever had to deal with, and I think it's going to lead to some dire consequences in adulthood, because childhood is really one of the most important times of development, and for all these children being exposed to such, degeneracy and immorality on the internet, we understand as kids ourselves, we saw some things, but never as kids today would on this internet. I don't know, I think it's a mess. And then you see little kids having social media profiles. It's disgusting, I think. I think they all need a good balance in parenting. They gotta be moderated. You gotta say no to them, but you also gotta show them how the real world is, but it can't be a mix of both, That's what I figure, at least. Anyways, on to the next. How are things going on your side of the states review, bro? Any big plans for the summer? I myself just graduated my associate's degree. I'm still undecided on going for my bachelor's degree. Other than work, I'm planning on improving my cooking skills, reading, and getting fit. To answer the previous VORW question regarding the 3 wishes, I would first wish for my own personal library, with a Japanese rock garden located in the center of it. Second, I would wish for a nice stock of supplies in case there is a happening. I'm not sure what I would use the last wish for. Keep up the great work. Take care, from Emilio. Well, thank you for writing, Emilio. And, I think that'd be pretty neat, a Japanese rock garden. I think that'd be very scenic and very nice, to say the least. I think that'd be pretty good, Hey, review bro. First and foremost, congratulations on 50k subscribers and climbing. I can't say I'm surprised at your increasing popularity. You truly deserve it. I want to thank you for answering all the fan mail in the last 2 VORWs. It's my favorite part of the program because I feel like we get a real sense of the man behind the reviews. We've had a lot of fan mail recently, and I'm only contributing to the problem, but it means a lot to take the time to answer to all of us on air. Well, my pleasure. To answer the question from the last VORW, my 3 wishes would be slightly self-serving. First, let's see. Okay. Firstly, I'd wish for good health for myself and my close friends and family. Secondly, I'd wish for enough money that I could never have to work again and travel the world. It wouldn't have to be a huge fortune, just enough to see the world and live comfortably. And finally, I'd wish for a long, safe, and happy life. Now, I don't know if it'd make me strange that I didn't wish for immortality, superpowers, ungodly amounts of money, etc., but I don't think those things would necessarily lead to ultimate happiness. I have a few random rapid-fire questions. If you're up for it, I am. Have you ever had any pets? If so, what kind? Betta fish. I've had a betta fish. I don't have any now. Believe it or not, if you listen to, I believe, the 2nd or 3rd VORW ever, actually, that's the episode where my betta fish died, and you'll hear me talk about that a bit. You'll hear me talk about that a bit, but, I had a betta fish, and they were great little guys. Always makes me a bit sad when I think about the betta fish and now they're dead. I know you might say, oh, they're just fish, but, you know, even if they were just fish, there were the little fishies that were there with me every day. They would always have their little bowl and their little tunnel at my desk, a nice little heater, and I'd see them in their tunnel just looking at me, and, they're always there. It's kind of makes me sad to think about how they're gone. Do you plan to vote in this upcoming presidential election? I'll see. I'm not gonna say who I'm gonna, depending on the choices and who gets it. I mean, I think it's clear at this point Donald Trump's gonna be the Republican nominee, and of the superdelegates and all, Clinton's probably gonna be the Democratic nominee. But I swear, every one of the political parties are talking about party unity, and we were all worried, about the Republican Party. That when Donald Trump was going to be the nominee, that conservatives, like Ted Cruz and the GOP establishment, of course, Paul Ryan and so on would refuse to vote, and they'd say, no, we, they might even try to do a third party run. Some people worried, and that would collapse the GOP they were worried about. And of course, now you have Trump and Paul Ryan who met and discussed party unity. Because if they wanted to win the election, of course, you got to have a united party. Okay, that's just how it's got to be. But now we're seeing with the Democrat Party, very interesting what's going on now with the supporters of Clinton and Bernie Sanders. Because when you talk about party unity, let's look at the opposite party, the Democratic Party, and you got to see that. You got to see what happened in Nevada today, actually. There's that big, commotion that happened at the convention there, and I think that's just crazy, And it might be a sign of things to come at the Democratic convention, and now it's a sign of saying, well, what's going to happen in terms of the presidential race? How's that going to play out for Hillary Clinton? I think that's pretty interesting. There's actually some primaries today, Kentucky and Oregon. Of course, Kentucky for Democrat Party, Oregon for Republican Party. The results for Oregon aren't in yet at the time of this recording, though they're supposed to come in about 20 minutes. It was a very tight race for Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton in Kentucky, however. At the time, 3,688 out of 3,696 precincts are in. That's 99.7% reporting. Hillary Clinton got 212,300 votes. Bernie Sanders got 210,505 votes. 46.7%, 46.3%. So that's very interesting there. If I had to give a prediction, I see Bernie Sanders sweeping Oregon, and I see Donald Trump sweeping Oregon as well. We'll see what happens there, but that's what I think. But as I said, I'm not going to say who I'm going to, if I vote, who I'd vote for yet. Because politics just gets everyone riled up. You know that well enough. I mean, it just tears things apart, I know it's like, oh, VORW, why, I can't believe you voted for, this guy or this candidate. I can't believe this. I'm gonna unsubscribe. Oh, screw you, VORW. And that's what everyone would say no matter what. Be it if I said I was gonna vote for Bernie Sanders or Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton or Gary Johnson, or anything in between. Maybe after Election Day. Maybe after it's all said and done, I'll say who I voted for. We'll see. If I vote. That's if I vote. I don't even know where I'll be, if I'll be able to vote. But I think it's a very interesting political election. I like going to the Guardian.com, and I like watching the live stream, the little live updates where they're shading in the counties, I think it's very, very interesting. How old were you when you first wore a suit? I was around, let me see right now. started wearing the suits in '07. So I was around, I think, 13 or so when, I think I was 13. Was I 13 or 14 when I first started wearing the suits? Because I started, no, I was back in... I was 13 or 14 when I first started wearing the suits. I started out with like clip-on ties, but then it started gradually evolving. If you could live anywhere in the country, where would it be? Somewhere scenic, No place in particular, just somewhere scenic, where you get clean air and a slower pace of life. No specifics for the last question. As I said, just wanted a slower pace in life, and you can say I've succeeded in that venture. Thanks for all the great content. I'm eagerly awaiting the next VORW as well as the upcoming reviews. Keep your chin up and keep on doing what you're doing. You're awesome. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for writing, Tim. And, thank you a lot. Yeah, politics, it's, everyone talks about it. And... where I stand varies depending on the issues, I say this, at least, in terms of social issues, I've been growing more conservative on a lot of those matters. But in terms of other issues, I could even say the opposite. So, I personally think when you're voting, don't necessarily vote along party lines if you don't agree with them. Don't just vote for Donald Trump because you're a Republican, or don't just vote for Hillary Clinton because you're a Democrat. Vote for really who you truly think would better the country and better your own life. Alright? And just do that to vote. Just exercise your freedom, your right to vote, and vote for who you truly think would better this country and better your own life and situation. And don't just vote for a Democrat because you're a Democrat and a Republican because you're a Republican. If you think an independent candidate is worth it, vote for him or her too. Don't just go along party lines. That's what I say. Dear John, hope your trip is going well. Given the recent Taco Bell Double Dia review, I've been wondering about other interactions you've had with fans outside the internet. By the way of the sounds of it, your Tosh.0 appearance seems to have made these occurrences more frequent, so I have some questions relating to this. Do you enjoy these fan interactions on a whole? I really have no comment regarding that. I mean, it's the fact that, or no opinion, not really comment, because the fact of the matter is none of these people are really, actually fans of the channel. They're guys who've seen me on Tosh.0, and that's all they've ever seen of me. I was out a couple last week, and I was getting people every day coming up to me, but none of them recognized me from the channel. They all recognized me from Tosh.0, What's the general age and gender of these fans, and they look like you'd expect them to? Pretty much. Most of them are, actually, every single person who's ever seen me is a man, in his early 20s, and that's true. Every one of them. Male, early 20s, and that's how I expect it. And do you welcome these interactions, or would you rather if fans saw you but didn't approach you? These interactions I'm fine with. I think it'd be better to just, say hi to me than sit there from up far taking creep shots of me, I think it'd be better to just, instead of trying to, take pictures of me or whatever, just go up and, say hi, shake my hand. If you want a picture with me, just go up and ask, and I'll gladly oblige. I have no problem with that. Because all the encounters are always so, short and sweet anyways. It's, there's no hindrance or anything from that. As an aside, have you ever taken an MBTI personality test? They're a bit of an internet fad, and their scientific validity has been questioned numerous times, but it's a bit of harmless fun and worth a peek if you're feeling bored. I remember I took it twice, and they were, within a 6-month period, and I got 2 different things. I remember back in 2013, I was an INTJ. Now I was, but I forget which one I got now. I know it was two different results, but, I forget. It wasn't particularly important to me. I thought it was an interesting little time waster. Concluding person writes, I'm an INTP. Not that this probably means a huge deal anyways. Thanks from Paige. Well, thank you for writing, and thank you for your questions. Let's see. We have one more. Hello, reviewer. First of all, I want to thank you for your great work. I really enjoy your content, both food reviews and VORWs. Especially your VORW broadcast is one of the few things I'm always looking forward to in life. I use it to distract myself from depression and anxiety, to fall asleep, or just to hear a voice while playing video games or walking with the dog. It has helped me through a few rough times in the past, and I'm sure it will in the future. While your food reviews are surely just as good, I can't enjoy them as much as the others, I think, and that's for two reasons. Reason one is I'm trying to eat healthy in the last few months, and watching the fast food reviews often ends up in craving fatty, high-calorie food. And the second reason is that I'm not able to taste 90% of the food you're reviewing myself because I don't have these fast food stores in Germany. Here all we have is McDonald's, which I dislike except for the Big Mac, Burger King, KFC, and Pizza Hut. I do have a very good Italian pizza place in my town, though from which I like to order pizza if my diet allows it. And from the mentioned fast food chains, I'd say KFC is my favorite, followed by Pizza Hut. KFC chicken is always soft and crispy, and I really like the side dishes like the mashed potatoes, the corn cob, and especially their chili cheese fries. Pizza Hut, I always enjoy their cheesy crust pizzas. I'd like to answer the last program's question. If it's too late, I'm sorry. No, it's okay. You're on time. When you asked what we, the listeners, would wish for if granted 3 wishes, I was kind of amused. Not because of the question itself, but the fact that my therapist asked me almost the same question in the same week. She asked what I would wish for if I had one free wish on Monday, just 2 days after you uploaded the VORW. I found this coincidence quite funny. But to continue, it is really hard for me to come up with 3 things I'd wish for. Of course, money would be nice, and I always take a pretty old car, a new computer, or a nice apartment for free. But to be honest, I think questions like this ask for more meaningful things than just pure materialistic desires for us humans. I'm more than happy with my financial status, although I'm not rich. I just feel glad that my parents earn average wage, and we always have had a housing, food, and enough money left for toys, trips, etc. Poverty and fear by being able to live is one of the worst things a young person can experience, I think. If really everything was possible, I think I'd just wish for a better life, a different life, or a different mind, better said. A life in which I'd have more friends, a girlfriend, and most important, in which I'm not constantly worried and anxious. While having friends and a girlfriend would help me in terms of being lonely, I probably still would not be happy. That's why I just wish I had another mind, other thoughts, or a new personality. Mine just feels wasted, and not waking up every day either being depressed, unmotivated, and worn out or anxious, restless, and filled with fears would be the greatest gift. To come to an end, I just ask you a simple question, and if you already answered at some point in your career, I'm sorry. However, my question is, what kind of suit did you wear for your high school prom, and what was your prom like? I finished the German equivalent of high school this year, got my Abitur, which made me think about how your prom went. Personally, I will probably, and I'm sorry to say this, wear a non-traditional suit at my prom night. I'll try not to dress in a full slim-fit suit if possible, but wearing a traditional suit, like you do, would just draw attention to me, which I avoided in the last 12 years of school pretty well, and I do not plan to change this in the last night of my school career. Otherwise, I'm not really looking forward to prom night. School ending just seems scary to me, not seeing all these people every day anymore. I must admit I didn't like most of them at all, but it's still a major change in life, and it feels weird to lose this routine from one day or another. Yeah, well, the fact of the matter is, actually, I'll read this, and then because he's got something more I can discuss, too. I also feel like I wasted high school or teenage years. While everyone was having fun at parties or with girls, I was sitting in my room most of the time. I probably missed most opportunities which could have led me to a better life, and have the feeling that I missed out on all the good things in high school years, especially not having the courage to talk to a certain girl is almost killing me, while the countdown and time is running away. Soon I will never see her again, just like everyone else. However, how did you cope with high school ending? Alright. First and foremost, like you, I did my own thing through high school. I didn't go to prom, believe it or not, I didn't. I said, instead of trying to be in the crowd, but, not being noticed by anyone, I'm just going to full-blown disappear into the shadows. And that's what I did. I didn't go to prom, I didn't go to any activities, did nothing. I was there for education, and then I went home. I had no friends, or actually I had friends, but I got rid of all of them, purposefully, because I didn't want to deal with that anymore. Got rid of them all, and I just disappeared into the shadows. And that's what I did. I didn't go to prom, and that's how it was. When I look back, when I look back at high school, the fact of the matter was, I was glad to be out of high school. I mean, it's understood that all these people in high school, you're never going to see them again. Maybe you'll, read about one in the paper someday about how he died or something, I'm just telling you like it is. But the fact of the matter is, it didn't really bother me that I'll never see any of these people again. I didn't really like anyone from the high school. I never had feelings for anyone from that establishment. I said, yeah, good riddance, everyone. At least most people. There are a few nice people, a few people who are nice and don't really ever think, oh god, I wish I was friends with this guy or what have you. But there's some people who I respect. And if I were to meet them, I would, treat them as so. Who are nice people, and I'll be nice with them. But most of the people at the high school, I was just, good riddance, I see you never. That's what I would think. Do I think I wasted my teenage years? I don't. And it's just my ideology. It's just the ideology you want to have. You can talk about life and paths in life and which path you want to take. You can go the traditional route, of course, which is very welcome to extroversion. Or you can go your own route and pave your own path. And it's... People will look at you funny, maybe. People might say things, but if it's what makes you happy, it's what makes you happy. And that's what I did. I paved my own path in life. Alright? I did my own thing. I went my own way. And that led me to happiness. I'm living an unconventional life right now. It's, it's a life which has really led me to no great riches. But it's the life I want to live, and it's the life that makes me happy. And it's a life in which, I can wake up anytime I want and live by my own schedule. And I say, I'd rather have that and have that freedom than have a lot of money, from another path. Now, anyways, it's how you look at things. I could look at high school, because I never went to a single party. I never hung out with real friends on the weekends, except for that time I got in that car crash. That was it for that, though. I never, went behind the school and got high and, banged that hot chick from gym class like they all say they did in high school or whatever they talk about now. I never did any of that. Rather, I'd just sit home, and, just not do all that much, but I enjoyed it. And personally, I'm glad I went through high school with that kind of, dignity, and don't have any regrets to look upon, because I just see it the other way. I see, if I went to a party and acted all stupid, I might look back at that and they'd say, oh god, I can't believe I acted like that back then. I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I wasted, this and did all these things, and, I can look back at that and say, well, I'm glad I went through high school with dignity. But anyways, that's just the ideological view of things. But don't worry. Listen, just be yourself. Don't necessarily go with the flow. Alright? Just do what makes you happy. And if it makes you stand out, sometimes you gotta grin and bear it, because in the end, you'll see the fruits of your efforts. Okay? With best regards from Germany, Lars. Well, thank you, Lars. And I wish you all the very best of luck in endeavors in life, and of course with the conclusion of high school. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this program. It is currently 11 o'clock p.m., and we'll end it. We'll cut it off now. All the letters have been read and responded to. Of course, if I did by chance miss your letter, send me a message about it, but please, like an adult, in a civil manner, and I will happily read that letter in the next program. Remember that the question for this program was, how did you find out about this channel? How did you get here? Via what means? And there are many different means. Websites, forums, social media, word of mouth, via the airwaves, whatever it might be. Even via television, Tosh.0. So, how did you find out about this channel? How did you get here? And looking forward to responses. As always, fan art is greatly appreciated. I'm looking for some drawings to have on this next program, and I'd love to have a few to showcase, especially those made by our very own listeners. Remember, send your responses and letters to youtube.com/user/report of the week. Click on the About tab, send message, and of course, add the contents of your message, send it off, and to the YouTube inbox it shall arrive. Or if you're an email type of person, send the message to repweekinterview1@gmail.com. That's repweekinterview1, the number 1, @gmail.com. Or to vorwinfo@gmail.com. That's vorwinfo@gmail.com. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this program. VORW 121 concluded. This is the voice of the Report of the Week, signing off.